Let's not act like we're not all here to see Rachel's sister read the hell out of Brian. Let's get into this review. You guys, Turn Autumn, I believe that's how, I know that's how the name is spelled. I believe that's how it's pronounced as well. But Turn Autumn on Instagram sent me a picture of Brian from back in the day, guys, and he was so fine. I don't know why he started messing with his face. Like, you're 37. Like, you don't need any work done, bro. But, you know, like, I think with Miami, it's the same how it is out here in LA, especially Beverly Hills. Like, young people start getting plastic, they call it preventive surgery, but they start messing with their face really young. Like, I know of somebody who was 18 years old who at 18 started getting Botox. And I'm just like, it's just a totally different world out there. So maybe he started messing with his face really young because that's like kind of the law of the land. But Brian was so fine, and he looked hella ethnic back then too. And maybe that's why the plastic surgery didn't work, or the Botox, whatever it is. Maybe that's why it's not working for him, because I feel like a lot of the plastic surgery for today, like that's out today, is like for Caucasian features. I'm serious, because every time that I've seen like a black person get like any type of, or like an ethnic person get like any type of plastic surgery, it never works out, because I feel like they're putting European features on someone who's not European. I'm not going to call out housewives, but I'm just like, ladies, the nose, you know what I mean? That's why a black person never looks normal when they get plastic surgery to the nose, because they normally go to like a white surgeon who only knows how to do, no tea, no shade, European noses. And then they put like this European nose on this African person, and it looks weird. Oh my goodness, listen, ethnic people, stop getting Caucasian surgery, plastic surgery. It just never looks right. You know what? I will say this though. I know of a few girls that have went, you know, to Atlanta and got some work done, and they've improved their features. But I think it's because they've gone to like black surgeons. So that's the thing. If you are a black person or like ethnic and you need to get it, you have a desire to get some plastic surgery done, go to Atlanta. They know what they're doing down there with, you know, different kind of features. Pro tip, just a little pro tip. I'm not knocking it, because if I start to look a little different, just know I've been to Atlanta. I'm kidding. I would never mess with God's greatest creation. Yeah. So the guys are going on like Rachel hometown dates. This is the time where they get to visit Rachel's family and meet and mesh with the family and just basically get grilled by important family members in her life. So Peter is the first up for the meet Rachel's family date. And before they head out to actually go meet her family, they go and pick up a little something for her niece. And while they're like shopping and this is the thing, right? I love Peter. I still think that he's a great candidate to be her husband. But I feel like all of a sudden he's having this epiphany that maybe he should have told her that he's falling in love with her, and he's starting to feel bad because this woman that he says he really cares about, he's never voiced or expressed how he loves her. But I feel like he's doing this now because I don't think that he thought that Dean would be sent home. You know what I mean? I think that Peter thought that it would be him, Dean, and Brian at the end. And to see Dean go home, I felt like that shook Peter up a bit. And now he's just like, I might be getting eliminated, so let me do all this extra credit work, probably when it's a little bit too late. But anyway, he decides that this is the time where he's going to tell her that he loves her. And I'm hoping like it's not a little too late. And it's weird because there's a part of me that feels like Peter is genuine, like he's the real deal. But then there's another part of me that feels like all of these things, these epiphanies happen with him when it's close to elimination. And I just don't know if he's playing the game or if he's real. I'm hoping that he's real, and because I feel like he's moving at a normal pace, and maybe he really does have feelings for Rachel. And I think the thing that is keeping me here with Peter being real is the fact that he didn't want to. They reached out to Peter. Remember, I think I told you this like several reviews ago, but they reached out to Peter about being on The Bachelorette a few times. I don't know if they reached out to him about being the Bachelor, but they did reach out to him about being on The Bachelorette, and he turned it down. But when Rachel was announced, he reached out to production and was just like, I want to be on this show. So I'm thinking that he's really here for her. But the fact that he continues to, as soon as it's like an elimination and it doesn't seem like it's going to really work in his favor, I feel like he just rushes to do all of these things so that he could stay another round. And to be quite honest, Peter never recovered from when Brian got that rose over him. I really felt like because he was grinding, you know, because Rachel was like grinding on his junk in the hot tub, he thought that he was going to get that rose. And she gave that rose to Brian. And guys, Peter has never been the same. He shut down. He's been pouting for the rest of the season. And I'm just like, if he's real, he needs to work on his emotions, because no woman wants or deserves a moody man. So then we get to Rachel's mansion. I'm like, this, the devil. This hair, the blood of Jesus, pray for me. So we get to Rachel's mansion and I'm just like, oh, this chick got money. But again, it's Texas. So I don't know. Like, I think they come from money, but I feel like you can live really well in the South. Can I tell you guys what I pay out here just to live out here in Los Angeles? I would be so well off if I was like if I was paying the same amount in like Texas or Atlanta. So I feel like the family does have money, but like compared to other cities, I don't think they're that wealthy, but I think for Texas, they're doing well. They get to Rachel's family's mansion, and right before they go in, I don't know, Peter. I feel like he's so calculated. So right before they go in, he tells her that he loves her. He feels like this is the right time to tell her that he loves her. And I'm just like, I feel like it's so calculated. Because he wants her to go in with this idea that he loves her. And I get the whole thing he said. It was just like, I don't want you to feel like you're introducing somebody to your family that you're not sure about. So I feel like he wanted her to go in with confidence in him and probably being very protective of him. The grilling of the family won't be as excessive because he has her heart. I don't know. I just feel like either Peter is really genuine or he is playing a game, and I can't call it. Like, I can call Brian's game, but I can't call Peter's game, because a part of me wants to believe that he is really there for her, and a part of me actually feels like that, but it's just the way he does stuff is just calculated, in my opinion. Speaking of Peter saying that he loved Rachel, and like, I love that moment. Like, that was, I was just like, yes, like, but I feel like I've wanted that from Peter a couple episodes ago. And I feel like Peter is moving in real time, but this show ain't real time. So that's the issue that we're having with him. Anyway, in saying that, poor guy, like, he was on Instagram talking about how he was getting like death threats and people were saying they were going to kill him and his family because he didn't say that he loved Rachel. And I'm like, yo, Bachelor fans, let's chill out of it, okay? Like, it's not that deep. At the end of the day, it's a game show, reality TV show where people find love. Like, we're all on this journey together, but I feel like, aren't we all on this journey together having a really good time? Like, don't get too invested into a TV relationship. Chill out and just have a really good time. So we finally get to meet Rachel's family, and the whole family is swirling. Like, when they panned around and she was like introducing everybody, I was like, well, damn, everybody in his family is swirling. So Peter, you'll fit right in. I was shocked because I don't know, I'm a northerner. So I was just like, y'all doing all this swirling in Texas? I was a little shocked by that, but hey, I guess, you know, that's just the law of the land. When I guess you have a certain amount of money, you can, I guess, do whatever you want. I don't know, but I was kind of shocked that it was like all of this swirling in one family in Texas. Ciao. All right. Also, Rachel's dad couldn't be there, and I think that he either didn't want to be on like this TV show or his job wouldn't allow it. And then I found out later, I don't know if it's true, that he was actually there. He just didn't want to be filmed on camera. I don't know which is true, but I can totally understand a federal judge not wanting to be on TV. You know what I mean? He's probably putting his family in danger and himself and his job in jeopardy. So I get it. Totally understand Mr. Lindsay. But I would love to have met him and see the guys like interact with the father, because that's like the most important, like, not like the mom isn't important, but I just feel like sometimes guys can easily charm a woman. I've been there. We've all been there. But I feel like a dude can't charm a dad. You know what I mean? Like, he could charm a mom. So I would have loved to have seen that interaction. If the father was actually there, then I feel more comfortable with Rachel moving forward with the guys, because I think especially for her to be as religious as she is and her family is. But you know what? I don't know if Rachel is as religious as her family, because we're gonna get to the fantasy suite a little later. But I still think that this family is like very religious, probably like black upper crust, like Texans, and I know that's like a holy state. So I think that that's really important for the man to like ask permission of the dad and to be approved by the father. So I think that's a really important thing. I would have liked to have seen it, but I totally understand that we, he didn't get that moment. Not everything is for us, although we're tuning in and keeping this show on air. Oh, so Peter is good. I'm telling you, he charmed the pants off of that family. He's in there and he's talking to them. He's saying that, he wasn't really sure at first, but he knew, when he didn't see Rachel for a very long time, he missed her. That's when he knew that he loved her. And when he saw her for the first time in that silver dress, he blacked out for a moment. And he is just talking it up. And I'm like, well, damn, Peter, we the viewers would have liked to have known that all of this before you get to sit down with the family. All of a sudden you're having these revelations. That is my issue with him. I feel like Peter has all of these revelations at just like these odd times, and they come up, I feel like, at critical points when eliminations are about to happen. So you're meeting the family, and all of a sudden, right before you go in, you tell Rachel you love her, and just sit down with the family. You say you loved her, and you knew when she wasn't around you. And Rachel was even sitting there like, who is this nigga? Forgive me. I don't use that word, but I'm so upset because she's sitting there looking like, who is this? I don't know who this dude is. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing all this, so I'm shocked. And I'm like, Peter, I feel like I'm giving him a pass because he's fine. I will say this. Did you see Rachel's brother-in-law? When Peter was talking, he was like, around. He was so into Peter. Peter was saying all this stuff, and he's like, I'm like, wait a minute, Rachel. I feel like Peter is I feel like he's swooning your brother-in-law too. Like, he charmed that family so much. I felt like the brother-in-law was just like, can I be the next Bachelorette? I mean, he was so enamored by Peter. And Peter, I hope that you are the real deal, because if not, you are good. So Constance is like typical big sister. You know what I mean? Typical big sister where it's just like, I'm looking out for my little sister. You're not going to charm me, because Constance is the only one Peter didn't charm. She was just like, you're not going to charm me. I need to know what's going on. Let me sit down. Let me get to the nitty gritty about everything. And I was really here for Constance this entire episode. Like, all of her scenes, like, she was saying everything that, like, I have been saying in these reviews. Like, she was asking the right questions. So she sits down with Rachel, and I never saw, like, her Bachelor season or whatever. But she was just like, Constance was talking to her, and she was just like, oh, you felt the same way about Nick. You know what I mean? You came and you was all excited about him and ready to get married to him, and look how that turned out. I was like, ooh, Constance, a little much, but yes, girl, get into it. And Rachel's just like, typical little sister. She's just like, well, no, but Nick was different. And I love how Constance was seeing above it. You know what I mean? Because I think with Rachel, like I told y'all before, real talk, Rachel has been thinking with the puss this entire season, and these are how certain guys got here. Now, I feel like her final four, she had a good pick. Out of what she was given, they were the best of the bunch. Let's be real here. So, but I still feel like the puss is leading her, because Constance is just like, you're not asking the right questions. Like, do you even really know these dudes? And Rachel can't ask these questions. Like, she can't answer these questions because she doesn't know. Rachel knows how well they kiss. She probably knows how big the junk is. Let's be real. She's grinded on all of their penises, okay? I'm not hating. I'm just saying. Then Peter sits down with Rachel's brother-in-law, and Rachel's brother-in-law, it's something about him. Like, he gives off a very smug kind of energy, because he's sitting down with Peter and he's leaning back and he's like, so Rachel is not, she's not perfect by any means. And I'm like, sir, excuse me, this is not your show. I told y'all he's trying to be the next Bachelorette. Anyway, Peter's just like, well, I haven't seen any red flags. So, and listen, I get this conversation, right? However, this is Rachel's show. You're not going to see any red flags, Peter. We have already put her through the ringer. This is her show. She's everything. You ain't sizing her up. We're sizing you up. So y'all men having this conversation about how Rachel ain't perfect and y'all don't see no red flags, y'all both can have a stadium of seats, because we're here judging you. You're not judging her. She's not perfect, but neither am I. Are you single, Peter? Asking for a friend. Oh. I feel like Peter saw that house and was just like, Rachel got money. Let me go on ahead and join in on this wealthy family, because Peter is a totally different guy at this dinner. I'm telling you, Rachel is shocked and so am I. What is Peter's real job? Is he a gigolo? I'm not hating. Let me see if I can afford him for a minute. Let's talk about Rachel's mom and how nothing can get by her. Because Peter was able to charm everybody else in that family, but when he sat down with the mom, she was very straight-faced. Every charm little thing he tried to do, it just did not work. But I love that he was honest with her, though. He was just like, I would like permission, to date your daughter. And the mom was quiet, and she was just like, I like that. Because I don't really understand this process, and her father and I are very comfortable with you dating her, and that's the best way to approach it. I know Rachel wants a proposal, but the type of family she comes from, I do not think that they will be okay with her getting married, engaged on a TV show, especially if she does not have her family's blessings. And I also feel like Rachel is her own person, but I do feel like she goes with the flow of this family. I feel like they're that kind of family where if they do not approve of your partner, you cannot marry into this family. So I don't know. I just don't know how Rachel's family gets it, but Rachel doesn't. While Rachel is taking Eric around, exploring Dallas, Peter and Brian are in the hotel room, having a slight shady kind of one-uppance argument. Peter was being really, really honest. And I don't know why Peter would be honest with Brian. They've never liked each other. They've never been friends. So I don't understand why he felt the need to have this moment with him. Because if you check Peter's Instagram, all of his pictures are of him and everybody else but Brian. He does not like him. And even Peter said it. So I just don't know why he was so honest about his feelings about, not being ready to propose. Because I just felt like every weakness that Peter was mentioning about himself, he was just giving Brian ammo, because Brian wasn't saying anything about how he was weak or anything, or not weak, but Brian wasn't revealing any weaknesses. So he was just sitting up there and he was just like, I can't wait to get there. I'm really excited to meet the parents so I can ask for her father's hand in marriage. And Peter was like, wow. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted with Brian. I feel like I'm conflicted all of a sudden with Brian because I saw that picture of him back in the day. And I feel like I'm thinking with the puss now. Oh gosh, Eric, why? So Eric meets Rachel's family. And as soon as he meets, I feel like, I don't know if you watch The Real Housewives of Orange County, but if you do, there's a character on there named Shannon. She's gained 50 pounds since the last season. And every time somebody new who hasn't seen her since they last taped, every time she sees him, she's just like, I've gained 40 pounds, I've gained 50 pounds, I've gained a lot of weight, I'm stressed out. She lets them know every time somebody new sees her. And I feel like this is what's happening with Eric. I feel like he feels like this is the most interesting thing about him. So as soon as he meets Rachel's family, he's just like, I come from an impoverished city, half of my family are in prison, my family is dysfunctional, I'm not even that close as my parents, and Aunt Verna is my real mother. I feel like that's what happens to him every time he sits down with anybody that's of any type of importance to Rachel, because he just blurts this out to the family. And I just have to be real honest here. When you are a black person from the hood trying to be in a relationship or marry a privileged bougie black person, the last thing you need to do is mention that you're from the hood and that your family has fallen subject to the trials and tribulations of the hood, because bougie black people are the worse when it comes to hood black people. They swear that they are so above it and they will judge you because of it. And I feel like as soon as Eric mentioned that, the family loved him. It was going so well. But as soon as he mentioned that, the energy shifted. And that was because, Eric mentioned, it's his truth, but I don't feel like it's all of who he is. So I wish he would have started with something else and then maybe went into that later on. But I knew as soon as he mentioned that they were going to judge him, and they did. Because as soon as Eric sits down with Rachel's mom, the first thing she mentions is his dysfunctional family. And he's trying to talk his way out of it by giving, saying all these compliments to her. It's a privilege to meet you. Congratulations on 38 years. I'm like, brother, you already busted it for yourself by telling her your deep, dark family secrets. And first of all, listen, Your mother, your family did the best that they can do. I'm sorry that you grew up in the hood, but that is not your whole story, and that does not define you. And just because you grew up in a place that was put there to keep your people in systematic oppression does not make you a bad person. It is a situation, and it does not define who you are and make you less of a person. So stop saying this sob story to people who will judge you because of it, because they haven't lived in anything like that. Shoot, I'm hella heated. I'm a hood person, and I'm a damn good person. Queenly in everything. Glitter goddess right here for you from the hood. So I'm back. Anyway, so Eric's, because I feel like because he told this story, the whole energy changed, and the family doesn't really like him. And when Rachel sat down with her cousin, who was all over Peter, remember? She was just like, oh, telling the nephew, whoever that kid is, say he's the winner, you know, doing all that cute stuff. With Eric, she didn't do any of that. And Rachel was asking her about him, and I'm telling you, I know what happened. Y'all not gonna tell me any different. I am a black person. I know exactly what happened. The cousin did not want to say anything negative about Eric because she's on national TV and she knows that we are watching, right? So she wasn't trying to say anything negative about him. So she was saying, like, she was giving him compliments, but she was searching for the compliments and she was very hesitant to say what she really thought. So even Rachel was just like, no, tell me what you really think because I have to make a decision. And I felt like Rachel was being very honest and very truthful because I think that Rachel, and I said this before, she was feeling Eric since the beginning. I never understood what she was seeing, but I told y'all they were focused so much on Yosemite Sam and Kenny that we could never see the interactions that she had with Eric, but she was feeling him from day one. So she is really confused about how to make the decision because she's just like, I feel like all of a sudden he's like waking up to this journey and all of a sudden he's having like all of these epiphanies. And I'm just like, Peter is too, but they have Peter on such a pedestal. I cannot take it. And I feel like what's happening with the family, I don't think they like Eric, right? I feel like when he told the sob story, the energy change. And I also know, that because they are a prominent black family and it is somebody, another black person coming in, they don't want to show that they are not really into him or say that they don't really like this guy for Rachel because it's a black person and they don't want to be judged about being like uppity, uppity Negroes concerning like a black person from a lower class. So they don't want to really say what they really feel, but the energy has already shifted in the way they are treating him. I already know that they prefer Peter because Peter came right in and that family they embraced him right off the bat. But that's like a swirling family. So I get that them accepting him right off the bat. But I felt like Eric, he had a great reception as well. Like they loved him. Then he said he was from the hood and everything died out. Bougie black. Okay, Rachel, so this is your show and I love you and I will ride with you till the wheels come off. However, this same watch, like matching watch thing that you did with Brian in front of the men was so disrespectful. And Peter is already a moody person. So as soon as he saw that, he sunk back into himself again, which kind of explains how he acted later on in the episode. And we'll get to that later. Eric was just like, Brian's been wearing the watch since Rachel got it for him. You know what I mean? And he's just like, it's not a big deal for me. But he's like, but she's wearing her matching watch. She didn't have to, but she wore the matching watch to meet the family. So that meant something, you know what I mean? I don't know. I felt like that was really disrespectful to do in front of two guys that you're still dating and courting. And one who you really want to get on his knees and propose, he's already on the fence about it. And you're wearing a matching watch with another dude and then showing it off, like not even wearing like a long sleeve shirt, showing off the watch in front of the dudes. And I'm like, how do you expect them to react? I don't know. If a woman did that, if a dude did that, y'all would be all up in arms. I didn't like that. That wasn't right. That was not right, Rachel. So while Rachel is taking Brian around Dallas, Peter and Eric are back at the hotel. And, Eric, I told you that watch thing cut him deep. He's like having a whole moment. And I see a side of him that I have not seen this entire season. He's just, he's just reading Brian for filth, talking about how like fake he is because he's from Miami. So everything is fake there. And, he's a charmer, but he's fake and like Brian was just really, Peter was just really going in on Brian. And I was just like, I don't know, like something came out of him that I had never seen before. And honestly, it was hot. Like, I was just like, oh, Peter, show this dude more often. Get a little angry. Yes. So Rachel takes Brian to meet her girlfriends, and I know that they kind of look familiar to you. I just want to let you know, they also starred in the movie White Chicks. I'm sorry, I had to do it. These girls, the resemblance is uncanny. I looked at them, I was like, Rachel, what the hell is going on in Texas? Rachel takes Brian to meet the family, and baby, he starts off with that Colombian charm, but it don't work on this family. None of them are into him. Not one. Like, everybody was just like grilling this dude. They were grilling Brian to the point where Rachel got out of character, and like the mother, even with the mother, and I was just like, oh, I know y'all bougie black family, because the way that Rachel was talking to her mom, I was just like, oh, this would never go down in the hood family. Like, her mom was like questioning Brian and asking him, important questions. But I will be honest, guys, I didn't see her question Eric or Peter like that. So I feel like even though Eric is from the hood, I think he in a better position than Brian, because the mom was asking him questions about like his mom, and because Brian was saying that his mom was his world or whatever, and she's just like, so I know you really care about your mom, but who comes first, the wife or the mother? And Brian took a minute to say it, but he said the right thing. He said the wife comes first. And I guess the mom saw that hesitation and was just like, but if something happens between you, Rachel, and the mother, whose side are you going to take? And she was just not letting this mom thing go. And Rachel was just like, Mom, he answered the question. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, Miss Rachel is getting out of character. And the mom was like, I know, but I'm asking him these questions, and you brought him here to meet the family. So they started going back and forth with a little bit. Then the brother-in-law jumped in, and I was just like, wait a minute, what is going on? They are not feeling him. And I feel like for this to be their first impression of Brian, and this is the energy that they're giving him, right off the bat, guys, they just gave him this energy of like, hell no, you will not be marrying into this family. And I'm like, something had to happen. And this is what I think happened, because Rachel's mom kept on asking Brian questions about his mother. And I think, and this is what a lot of women do, we tell our mom everything. And you have to realize, you may joke about something, or you may be able to get over something that happened in your relationship. Your mother will never forget. I honestly believe that Rachel told her mama about how Brian's mom said, if you hurt my son, I will kill you. And that didn't sit right with the mama, because she would not let Brian's mom off the hook. She kept on asking him questions about the mom. And I was just like, Rachel, we do this all the time, especially when we love our mamas. We let her know everything about our relationships. And some stuff you just got to keep to you, because you love this dude. You're with him in this relationship, or you want to be with him. So you'll excuse certain things that your mama won't. And you probably shouldn't have told your mama that Colombiana woman wanted to shake you if you heard her one and only child. I forgot that Brian was her only child. And I was, Rachel, it's not worth the stress. Let Brian go. So anyway, the family is grilling Brian. He's feeling very uncomfortable. He gets up and he leaves out. So this is what I think happened. I thought that Brian got up because he was just like, excuse me, can I excuse myself? And you could see that it just wasn't comfortable. And it just didn't go well, because Brian is able to charm his way out of anything or into anything. Hello, Rachel's puss. And it just was not working this time. Like, it was not working with the family. And he was getting very, very flustered. So he was like, can I just excuse myself for a moment? So Rachel felt that energy when her bae left. And then he walked out and he went into the living room. And I honestly feel like he spoke to production, because he was pointing back to Rachel's family, and his eyes were big. I could see like just the profile of his face. And I was just like, oh, he's talking to a producer. Brian don't like this. Brian does not like this. And I think because this is a place where he does not have control of. I feel like in the Bachelor world or wherever, he has control there because he got Rachel straight off the bat. So that is like Rachel's world, and he has kind of control over that because he spoke directly to her puss and he got her. But he can't speak to these pusses and bussies. Not in this household. They are not having it. But I also think that maybe when he went out, he also talked to Rachel's dad. I don't know, because the editing with ABC, they are really messy with this editing. Like, they make you think one thing when it really didn't happen. So he either went to go talk to her father, or he went and spoke to production and was just like, get me the hell out of here. I feel like he spoke to production. It was just like, I'm done. Let's go. Because we cut back after Brian has this whole, like, can I be excused? We cut back and it's a totally new family. Like, Rachel and the brother-in-law were not getting along before we cut, and then we come back and him and her are like, oh, family. I was just like, oh, y'all cut and had a whole family meeting about how you were not going to embarrass me on national TV. Let's get it together and act like the Cosbys we know that we are. I think that's what happened, because that scene was way too tense for all of a sudden for ABC to go to commercial and cut back, and all of a sudden they are bosom buddies. Brian not winning. I really thought that he was going to take home the rose, but with this family not approving of him, I don't know, Rachel. Then Brian sits down with Constance, and if you thought that table grilling was rough, this thing with Constance, like, she is not moved by him at all. She catches his playerisms right off the bat, and she's just not for it. Like, he cannot charm her. She's sitting there stone-faced, and then Brian is just like, I love this family. And she's just like, you love us, you just met us. I was like, oh, Constance, go easy. But that's her baby sister, so she's not playing. The thing about it is, Rachel is digmatized by Brian. Her family is not. So they're, like, especially Constance, like, she's going to look out for her little sister. So whatever Brian is trying to throw, she is just not receiving it. And guys, after Eric's date, I had no idea that it could get worse. Like, whoo, that family don't want Brian at all. And speaking of Brian, he got a couple stands, right, that come to this page every now and again. And I'm just say this, I don't not like Brian. That's the last time I'm going to say it. I keep on saying that I don't have any issues with him outside of this show. I do feel like he's playing Rachel. I think he likes her. I think he's attracted to her. But this whole love and marriage talk, I just don't believe him. I don't believe that because you have to realize, Brian was in love with Rachel day one. You know what I mean? And again, I feel like you can fall instantly in love, but there's something about him for me that was just not connecting. I don't think it's real. I feel like Brian is playing to win. He's playing to win a woman, win a game show. He's playing to get to the end of this, because at the end of the day, this is going to be a huge career opportunity for whoever wins at the end. You know what I mean? So, and I get it. He's playing the game. So he's great for this TV show. I just feel like concerning the two other men who I really think are there for her, I would prefer Brian to go. I would watch him on another TV show, though. I think he's great for reality TV. I think he's a good game show person. I think he knows how to play the game, and I think he knows what to say. But Rachel really wants a husband, and she wants to have like 7 children in, 18 months. So I don't think that Brian is the dude for that. So that's my issue. But anything else, listen, and besides the Maleficent fillers, that's my issue with him. But outside of that, I don't got a problem with him. And that's the last time I'm going to say it. Be blessed. Be blessed. So we're in Spain. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like a few of you said that they do travel all around the world, but they don't give any reason as to why we just end up in another country. We just cut back and we're just in Spain. So we're in Spain. And Rachel is saying that when she leaves Spain, she wants to leave like with an engagement, like a possible husband. And I'm like, sis, I love you, Rachel, but I feel like you're going to shoot yourself in the foot trying to get a proposal out of a guy who is not ready. The only good candidate at this point that she can choose who will definitely give her a proposal, I believe, is Brian. And I think that's why he's probably the front runner. And also, do you get like a bonus if you get an engagement on this show? Because let's be real, it's a reality TV show. And they give people incentives for different things. Like, I'm pretty sure that Yosemite Sam got paid a little bit extra to go on as the resident racist on this show. So they give you incentives to do a few things. So I don't know if it's just like, if you get a proposal, we give you a $500,000 bonus at the end. I don't know why she's so dead set on getting a proposal when her family is so dead set on her getting somebody to date seriously who may be interested in her for marriage. So I think her family is okay with Rachel being courted for marriage. She's not okay with they're not okay with her getting engaged at the end of some game show. And I get it. It makes a lot of sense to me. And especially now that I know that engagement is not the end game of this show, that a lot of bachelors or bachelorettes have ended their seasons with people, with each other, or one person saying, let's get to know each other outside of this. And I think that's a great idea. She has two guys who I think are really good candidates who want to get to know her more. Like, she's forcing them to say that they love her and are falling in love with her. And I'm like, it's just not realistic. It's not realistic. And I also hate how they all have to say that they're falling in love or they're in love with her. And she hasn't even said that yet. Like, she hasn't really said that she's falling for anybody until they mention it. And it's like, why do you have to fall in love so quickly? Why aren't you like trying to just see if you could be in the same space with this person and miss them and just, I don't know. I just feel like she's not enjoying the journey because her mind is just focused on an engagement ring. And it's like, sis, that is just a present or just something to show that you are in a committed relationship with someone. That is not the meat of the relationship. Marriage is forever. At least it's intended to be forever. You're linking up with this person. You're going before God and your family, and you're saying that this is the person that I choose. This is the person that I want to be with for the rest of my life. I am coming to you all because I want you to bless this, and I want you to be a part of helping it thrive. These people don't even know who the guys are. You don't even know who the guys are, and you want to get engaged. And although I feel like Peter is calculated at times, I honestly get his hesitation. I honestly get Eric's hesitation. It just doesn't make sense to think that people are ready for marriage after knowing you for a few weeks and seeing you go on dates with several guys. Like, how about you guys date each other without you dating 30 other men? Like, I don't know. Oh gosh, I'm so invested in this show, and I'm so invested in Rachel's journey, and I just don't want her to miss out on the one because of a ring. Girl, it's not that deep. You are making it so deep, and you're about to miss out on something good. Eric is the first Spain date. And again, we get another freezing date for the blacks. I told you guys, I have no idea where they keep on putting black people in these freezing dates. Neither one of them can really focus. They're both shivering and shaking, teeth chattering. I'm like, why y'all keep on doing this? We are sun people. We don't know how to deal with this cold, but y'all keep on putting them in these freezer dates. Anyway, they have this whole conversation, and it's really sweet. I love to see them together. I think they have such a great connection. And while they're talking, Eric finally reveals that he loves her. And I told y'all about how I think it's unfair that, they all have to say it and then she can say it if she wants to or not. I don't know. I just don't like the double standard. And I also don't like the double standard working against Eric with him being inexperienced. Because now that I get to know him a bit more, I understand why he hasn't dated as many people as he has. And I'm like the same way, right? But I feel like it's totally different for women than it is for men. Because if you're a woman and you're inexperienced, or and that just means that you haven't dated a lot of people or haven't slept with a lot of people, it's, oh, that's a good thing. That's a good girl. You want a woman like that. But if a guy is the same way, it's like, oh, what's wrong with him? He's crazy. He's broken. Something. And I just don't like that. I don't like that being used against Eric. And I get it. In the beginning, I had that issue with him because I didn't know anything about him. Now that I know who he is, and now that we're getting this information on him, I don't like his inexperience being used against him. It's not fair, because if it was a woman, that would be applauded. That would be upheld. That's the standard, to be quite honest with you. And I don't like that being used against him. Anyway, she gives him the fantasy suite card. And from what I heard about this is that they go to a hotel room together and they can either bang or not bang. But let me tell you something. The way Rachel looked at him when she gave him that card, and then the next morning she had on no makeup. You know what I mean? The hotel room was disheveled. She had on lounge clothes. He looked, brand new and renewed. I was just like, Rachel, did you bang this dude on national TV? You know what? The Bachelor, ABC is not as squeaky clean as they want you to believe. I'm like, you didn't... She done had a miracle season with Eric. Lord. Girl, was it good? You know what? She looked happy. She looked happy. You know, them hood dudes, he probably put the strength of Baltimore on ya. So Peter is up next for the Spain date, and they go to like this really creepy wine dungeon. I was just like, this is not romantic to me at all. But then it gets better because this cute, this adorable old man starts singing to them about love and how kissing. It was a really, really sweet song. And then he gives them a key and he takes them to like this little wine cellar, and it says Raquel and Pedro, and he gives them the key and he's like, this is your wine cellar, like this is yours, like nobody else can have it because you are the only two people who have the key. And to me, that was so, I like teared up. I'm like, oh my goodness. If a guy did that for me, I would like, oh, what? And I don't even drink wine. Like, I don't drink. But that was so sweet. It went right to my heart. And I was just like, you know what, Peter? That's better than a watch. Something like that. You two are the only people who had, this is your moment in Spain. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Then they go outside and they start talking, and Peter just tells Rachel that he's not ready to propose. Like, he wants more time, and he knows that that's something that she really, really wants. And before they can get into it, like, Rachel like wants to start grilling him. And I'm just like, girl, don't grill him. This dude is making sense. Follow him. At some part, like, listen, a marriage is 50-50. At some points in a marriage, different people, different partners lead out in certain situations. Let Peter lead out in this. He knows what he's talking about. You are so focused on the ring, and honey, in the words of Kim Zolciak, the ring didn't mean a thing. I can sing, but that song sounded that terrible. I was being extremely accurate. Anyway, Rachel is trying, she's about to say something, but then she's interrupted by this beautiful little girl. And they just go over and they start talking to her. And I honestly believe that that beautiful little girl was a representation of their child. Because did you see them two together with that baby? I was just like, see? Your daughter has come back from the future in the body of this little Spanish child to come see her parents and how they first started off before she was conceived. I'm telling you, Rachel, this is your husband. Don't mess it up. But if you do, Eric is a good match too. See, I'm going back and forth. Damn it. I couldn't do this. I could not do this. You know, I think I'd be a great bachelorette. But I don't put out. And if you think that you're going to have me on national TV, spread eagle with my legs wrapped around the dude, sucking on his tongue, and then doing it for several other dudes, my mama don't play that. My mama don't play that. And to bring a dude back to my family, oh, you think Rachel's family grilled the hell out of Brian? Oh, my family would make an entire scene. Absolutely not. But really, I'm like such a prude. I wouldn't even like, I would probably hold hands. And if a guy like tries to touch me, I'm like, oh no, not in front of the cameras. But I would be a fabulous bachelorette kid. My gowns, you guys have no idea. You have no idea. So Peter and Rachel have their evening date, and Peter introduces this tradition that his family has to Rachel, and he says that they always save, I think his parents, he said that they save a wine cork and they write like a special message on it. So he wanted to do that with Rachel with their wine that they got from their cellar. He saved the cork, and he gave it to Rachel, and he was just like, I want you to like write a special moment or memory on it, and we'll save that. And then Rachel says this, now you finally get to see how terrible my handwriting is. And I'm like, girl, you want this dude to propose to you and he don't even know what your handwriting look like? These things are important. Like, this is for the rest of your life. You come from Texas. You come from a very religious family. They don't seem like they do divorce. So this is forever. And you just want to make a decision like that so quickly, like off the whim, off of some reality TV show of a partner that you didn't pick, that casting picked out for you? Girl, are you serious? Because then they have this whole engagement disagreement, and Peter's just like, I want to do this once. And I'm like, this is the dude, girl. Like, he is talking the real talk. What are you doing? And she starts to cry because she's like, well, I want a proposal. I want a ring. And he's just, and like, Peter's not budging on that, and she's not budging on her ignorance. And they're just at this weird space. The only thing that I didn't like is that Rachel starts like breaking down crying, and Peter's just rubbing her shoulder. I'm like, boy, embrace her. Embrace her. You making her cry. Like, give us a little bit more. But I love you, Rachel, but I agree with Peter. You know what? I sound like Brian. I don't know you, but I don't want no harm to come to you, girl. You know what? No, I love you. You're my sister. I love you. I don't want no harm to come to you, and I want you to be happy. I want you to find the man that is right for you. I think you're talking to him right now, but you don't see it because you want a ring. Oh, girl, don't mess it up. Anyway, that's where it ends, with Rachel crying about getting a ring. And I'm so disappointed because guys, I really feel like she's going to shoot herself in the foot. She's going to miss out on the one, focusing on the ring. And whew. Girl, don't do it. Anyway, that's where the episode ends. We get a preview of the rest of the season, and then we get a preview of next week, which is the Bachelor's Tell All. So that's where like all the guys come back and we get like the deep, dark, and dirty secrets. And the only thing I'm really excited about is seeing Dean again. And also seeing DeMario, because he has been so messy since he got kicked off of that show. I need to know what his messy life is up to. I also need to know about the Bachelor in Paradise, where he's at with that, because the fact that DeMario is going to be on the Bachelor Tells All lets me know that the network sided with him. And that girl, whoever brought up that lawsuit, honey, I hope you move back home, because ABC is a huge network and they will crush you, girl. Don't even try to get in the entertainment industry. Just get your coins from this settlement and move on. Also, his ratchet girlfriend is going to be there, so I want to see that mess. Do not want to see Yosemite Sam. I would like to see Kenny, but I'm done. Like, don't bring him back on. I don't care what Lee has to say. I am over it. I will see you guys then. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you for the following episode of The Bachelorette. Bye, guys.